Hello, hello. It's your girl Michelle.
It's
Let's try that again. This is your girl Michelle with Girls Talk Real Talk because when girls talk, just about anything can happen. Can you hear me okay, Candra?
very staticky.
Okay. Give me one quick second while I fix some audio issues and we will be right at it. How about now? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So this is your girl Michelle with Girls Talk Real Talk because when girls talk, just about anything can happen. So I am so excited today. I have a young lady on with me today that is no stranger to social media by any stretch of the imagination. I had shared with her that I actually have followed her for years. I've been following you since the birth of your son, your youngest son.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? Wow.
So
Wow.
I've had the opportunity to watch you grow, to watch you be able to share with other people what God is giving you, and to help other women be able to really step out there and create their own lives. Now, in speaking about now, I'm sharing my experience with you because I'm an early bird. So I'm up early in the morning watching what's going on. And it was one of those mornings that I was able to hear you. And it was at a time in my life when I was going through some major life decisions.
Mm.
I was deciding what I wanted to do next. Did I want to do my own business? Do I want to work for somebody? Do I want to do both until my business got off the ground? And so I would listen to you as you were talking to stylists,
Mm-hmm.
and the stuff that you were saying, I felt like applied to me anyway.
Good, good.
And so I would listen to what you were saying to them. One of the things that I remember you saying that has stayed with me forever, you said, get you a calendar and began writing down the things that you want to happen every day
Mm.
so that you will remain focused on what your goals are. I'll never forget that. That has stayed
Mm-hmm.
with me forever. So,
Wow.
I have my electronic calendar and I have my journal and I write down the things that I want to happen so that
Wow.
I can start speaking those things into existence. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to let you introduce yourself to our audience any way that you want to introduce yourself.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I had no idea. My son is 7, so you've been following me for 7. It's funny because I wasn't even online then. So that's so weird.
It was right after then. You hadn't had them long.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Well, thank you again. And I'm glad that I made some type of impact. But my name is Candra Ward. And what I do is I teach hairstylists, I teach moms, and I teach women who are looking for their next journey or next chapter in life. I teach them how to take their story, their expertise, and their experiences and turn it into a high-end signature program, product, or service. I started out teaching hairstylists because a lot of stylists wanted to leave from behind the chair. So I was giving them other avenues where they could increase their revenue. But then I started noticing like people like you that are not stylists will follow me as well. So I love to help everybody well, not everybody. I do have my target demographic, but I love to help my demographic reach their goals.
So, what made you decide to step into that realm?
Well, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom with my son. I have a 29-year-old as well, so I was not able to stay home with him because I was a salon owner. I was always in the salon. He was known as the shop baby. And for this second go around, I didn't want to be away. I wanted to see his first steps. I wanted to take him to the park in the afternoon. And I said I needed to do something where I can work from home. And I love to teach. I love to educate. So I started learning about like this coaching and consulting and online. And this is around the time when Facebook literally just started getting alive. First, it was Periscope. So I was on Periscope for a while. And then I ended up on Facebook Live. So I was one of the few beauty industry professionals that started coaching other stylists that were going online. It was like 3 of us. So of course, as it got populated, more people got acclimated to it. But it was a joy, and that's pretty much what happened. I turned my education. I'm a licensed educator, so I turned that into an online platform, just teaching stylists at that time how to build their salon clientele, how to build their salons, how to save their time and money. So, and then I kind of pushed over to the digital space.
I went on mute so that there
Yes.
wouldn't be a sound back, any static. So, in what it is that you decided to do as you stepped into the realm of teaching, and you came from behind the chair and actually got in front of the chair and started teaching your audience and speaking directly to them. What was some of the most impactful moments for you when you were working with those ladies?
Oh man, it was impactful. Number one, because it's they were where I was. Okay, so I've been a hairstylist all my life. I would say. I mean, right after high school. I'm sorry, I went straight to hair school. I've been doing hair all of my life since I was 3 years old. So I didn't go to college after high school. I went directly into hair school because I was a single mom, a young mom, and I just went into something that I loved. So I understood all of the troubles that they were going through. I understood all of the trials, all of the concerns, the pain points, and I wanted to be able to help them go through it. Now, for me, when I was in the salon, I was known as getting out on time. Like a lot of people would stay in the salon till 9, 10, and 12 o'clock at night. I was out by 6 or 7 because I knew I needed to get home to feed my baby, to do homework with him. And I just didn't want to be in a salon all day. I'm an early bird like you. I started early and I was done early. So I wanted to be able to teach other stylists how to do that. Now, fast forward into the digital space, when they felt like they weren't making enough money, or they were tired from being behind a chair, or they started getting carpal tunnel, or they've already put their 15, 20, 25 years in and they were looking for their next and they wanted to teach, I said, okay, this is a perfect opportunity. So that just did something to me, that I was able to help them pull out the teacher in them.
I think that's so important for people to realize that you don't have to stop. You don't have to stop. You just change what it is that you're doing and make it work for you. That's one of the things that I've even had to learn. I did a major shift at the beginning of the year. I went from working with business owners and entrepreneurial creatives to set up their business and legitimize their business, to only working with authors so that they will begin to learn how to create a business around their writing. And so that's when I got into the digital, the different courses and classes and all of that. So when you began to step into that realm of providing those digital packages and products to your audience base, how did you go about initially starting your process?
Well, in 2016, I had a mentor prior to that, because I'm an author of 10 plus books. So my first mentor helped me write my first book back in 2009. But in 2016, I said, I need something. I need to hire some coaches or something. So I'm fiddling around online on Periscope, and I ran into two people that I really was attracted to as far as their coaching style. And I hired both of them at the same time. I even got a second job just so I could pay for my coaching. And one was a year program, and the other was, I think, about a 4-month program. So they were on two different spectrums. One was fast paced, one was slower paced. So I got the best of both worlds. And then around 2017, I launched my first program, which was like a membership. And one of my coaches, no, excuse me, it was a coaching program. And then I did the membership. But one of my mentors within the program said, I want to challenge you to charge $1,000 a month for your coaching. I'm like, what stylist is going to pay me $1,000 for 4 weeks of coaching? Right? I'm just starting. She was like, don't doubt yourself, do it. I did it. I got 6. I was shocked. Like, I was like, y'all paying me $1,000. Oh, okay, this is real. So that's when I really started to get a taste of it. And then I created the membership program, and I got quite a few people in there. Membership programs at that time wasn't my thing, so I didn't really keep that up long. But I feel like you have to taste test to see what works for you. So the coaching program really stuck with me, but that's pretty much how I got started.
So when you're talking about you went into the coaching realm and you allowed yourself to sit up under somebody else's tutelage, how important was that to help you grow into who you are today?
Oh my God, it was super important. First of all, you need coaching. It's a lot out here in these digital streets. Like, it's a lot to learn. It's a lot of tools. You need to learn different tools. You need to learn different setups. You need to learn different coaching programs, what fits you. You need to learn how to identify your target market, marketing, all that good stuff, branding. And it's really hard to go alone if you're not familiar with it. So coaching is definitely a great impact on your future, on your business, even your life. So I mean, it just changes the trajectory of where you want to go and where you see yourself. So I think that coaching is super, super important. I mean, I would admonish anyone to look into it. And you don't have to spend a whole lot. I know a lot of people get fearful of coaching because they see these $10,000 packages. Now, I paid just in 2020, actually 2019, I paid $11,000. That was my first time paying that upfront, all at one pop. That's it, no payment plan. So I know that I can charge that because I've invested in that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that someone who is starting has to pay that. There are programs out there for $19.97, $9.97, $4.97. You want to take baby steps, right? That's what I would tell people, to take baby steps. And as you grow and as you learn, you'll be able to invest at a higher level.
Well, one of the things that I do, I want to back up something that you said, Candra, because it's so important. One of the things that I've learned, because I have a coach, and I value what I learned from her. And she has a lot of my personality types, and we like a lot of the same things. So it was, as they say, a marriage made in heaven. And I found her at the most inopportune time because I had just started being on Clubhouse, and I saw this one that was talking about tech tools and business and all of that. And I said, well, since that's where I want to go and I want to really learn more about it, let me step into this room. And she was one of the ones that was on stage that was talking. And I just kind of reached out to her, told her I was interested. And it was a class she was getting ready to start. I jumped into it. And so coaching to me is important because it does. There are industry influencers and knowledgeable people that have already done what we're trying to do. So instead of recreating the wheel, sit up under the tutelage of someone who's already done it, learn the different things that they learn, put your own twist to it because you got your own style, and then throw it out there. So, when you began to take the entrepreneurial route, how was that received by family and friends?
Well, I've been an entrepreneur all my life, so that's all they know me for. Like, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 12 years old, honestly. I was doing adults hair. That's when, braiding, we didn't call it like micros, but I was doing this at 12 years old to my mom's friends. So I was making my own money to pay my own phone bill. It's crazy. Like, I had a large clientele. I was making over $1,000 a week at 17, 18, 19 years old back then. That was a lot of money back then. So I was always an entrepreneur. So it's nothing new. That's just the gift that God had blessed me with. I was always a writer, and I always did hair. So those were the two things that were very present and visible from being a young girl. And I opened my first salon at 25, so they weren't shocked. That's all they expect from me.
So as you were taking this journey now, you had your son, you're in hair school, you're doing what you're doing to make a living, and you've got these goals that you have set for yourself, and you've made the decision of cutting your time. You got to get home to your son and help him and raise him and do the things that moms do all over the world when we're taking care of our kids, even though we may be working parents. How did you, what tools did you use in order to maintain the business life and the home life?
Tools. Clarify that for me.
What skill set, what did you tap into within yourself, or what did you see from the people around you that helped you be able to manage what you were doing in the salon,
Hmm.
make that switch, and handle what you were doing at home with your son?
You know what's funny? And this is not to sound pompous or arrogant or anything like that, but I really didn't learn anything at, let me rephrase that because that doesn't sound right. Not that I didn't learn anything, but when you said, who did I see and where did I learn it from? It was just something within me. I can't explain it. I'm the first entrepreneur that I know of in my family. So I really didn't see anybody make a shift like that. It was just something in me. I was a mom at 15, and from there I had responsibilities. So I guess if I was to answer that question, I guess it would be being a mom so young. I've just always had the discipline and always knew where I had to cut off, what I didn't want my child to go through because his father wasn't in his life. So my drive back then was to make sure that he had a good life, and I knew a good life wasn't keeping him out till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning in the salon. So I knew I had to get him home at a certain time. And I wanted to live a particular way. So that's pretty much what guided that. I don't have a clear cut answer. It was just in me.
So while you were learning your craft and you were out there and you're a hairstylist,
Mhm.
and you've got your clientele, were there any individuals that you looked up to that helped you formulate who you
Mhm.
are today?
Oh, that's a good question. It sounds so weird because it makes me feel like I'm an island alone, and I'm really not. But the standout back then, I probably would say I have a spiritual mom. Her name is Miss Debbie. At the time when I lived in New Jersey, of course, my mom, but someone outside of my home. She taught me some home skill things, but as far as entrepreneurship and as far as balancing, not really. My grandmother, there we go. So my grandmother would teach me, as far as everything was home stuff. No one had taught me the entrepreneur. I didn't have any entrepreneurs in my life, so I had to learn that on my own. But as far as home, my grandmother always taught me, go shopping. And I hope this answers. I hope I'm in the same. She would always tell me to go shopping one day out of the week. Take a day, cook all of my food. That way, I'm saving money. I'm saving time. I'm eating with my child. So what I would do every other Tuesday, I had a schedule. Every Monday was me and God's day. I would drop my son off at school or daycare, whatever, however old he was. I would go to the park with my Bible and I would sit out in the park, and it would just be me and his day until it was time to pick my son up from school. Even if I dozed off in the car, I was just out there, in the summertime. In the wintertime, I would be in a home, but that would just be, everything would be cut off. It would just be me and God's day. Then Tuesday would be the day that I would do my food shopping, right? So I would go to the supermarket, I would buy all of my food, all fresh foods, and I would cook it. I would get my Tupperware containers, label them, freeze them. So therefore, I didn't have to eat out all of the time. But every Tuesday, I would take my son out. It would be mommy and son date night every Tuesday because it was kids eat free under 10 years old back then. So those were my Tuesdays. Then Wednesday, I would do Bible study. So that's how my week was. So that's kind of how like I structured my week. But as far as having an entrepreneur to look up, I didn't have any entrepreneurs in my life to look up to at that time.
So back when you were in the salon and when you were owning your salon, when you
Mhm.
were the owner of the salon, what type of individuals were you looking for to have their booths in your salon?
Have
Their booth, their to work in your
their booth.
salon. Mhm.
When I own my salon, I just wanted someone that I wanted people that we can connect well together. And it was so, I never had to look for people. I'm telling you, this was so God ordained. It's crazy. I never, like, you're bringing back memories. I never had to look for anybody. They knocked on my door. I literally never had to put an ad out. I never put a wanted sign out, anything. I was working. My salon had 4 chairs. I was working, and literally I would get a knock. Are you hiring? Sure, let's come in, do the interview. That was that. But and I will all I and it's funny because I never really set. I never really took the time to talk to God and say, God, I want this particular person. I didn't do that. I just worked, and they just knocked on my door, and they just happened to be the people that I needed. I was kind of like go as you go at that time. You know what I mean?
So if there are individuals that are wanting to open their own shop, they're
Mm-hmm.
wanting to step out from up under someone else's name and
Mm-hmm.
venture out on their own. What would you share with them? What would any advice you would give to them?
Well, I would say do your research first. Don't jump into something just because someone else is jumping into something. Um, Make sure that it's definitely a passion and a dream of yours, because owning a brick and mortar may seem awesome, but if you don't have the right staff, if you don't have the right tools, if you don't have the right knowledge, it can fold very quickly. 2020 has shown us that. So I just want to make sure that you do the right thing. I admonish people to work for somebody else and stack their money up before they even go out and get a brick and mortar, because now it's so much different than just working in someone else's salon chair, and you can just get your money and go home to your family. You don't have to worry about paying the bills. You don't have to worry about um um oh goodness, what am I trying to think? You don't have to worry about, oh, I just had a brain freeze. But you don't have to worry about staff meetings. You don't have to worry about paying people. You could just go home and mind your business and make your money. Now, if you know that you are called to open up a salon or a chain of salons or a school, then have at it. But get all of the education that you need. And remember, you want to work more on your business than in your business. So if your idea is just to grab a couple of thousands, go rent a salon out and go get some booths, and you don't put your hands on it at all, well, that's a fast way to failure. And that even if you don't lose the salon, you will always be working like a slave, because you're probably going to make the most money in there anyway. So now you have to be in there all of the time. So you want to make sure that you get with somebody that you can create a plan of action where you can possibly only work 2 days a week, or maybe you may not want to work in there at all, or just maybe a couple times a month, right? And then you have everyone else, like all of your staff members, working. So I see too many people jump and grab salons that aren't ready. Now, if you really, now I know a lot of people are against this, not a lot of people, but a lot of like coaches are against this, running and getting a suite first right out of school. But I would admonish you to at least get a suite first so you can get your feet wet. Because grabbing a 6 and 7 and 8 chair salon, and you have rent $3,000 a month and electric and water, it's a lot. And then you still have to buy products. So just really think about it. Get a coach. Um, get a coach that can help you navigate through that process, because it's a big process.
That's some really good advice. Actually, anybody can utilize that same advice. Take it slow. Don't jump in both feet. Understand what it is that you're getting yourself into. Prepare for what it is that you want to do. Because trust me, when I first stepped into the podcast realm, I was on radio, and that was a learning experience. I did about 18 months on air, and then I went to a standalone podcast. And so I've been doing this now. This month is 3 years. And one of the things that I've learned is watch other people that are doing what it is that you want to do. Because just because you have the voice, or you have the talent, or you have the passion, all of that is great. But you need to have some knowledge. The word of God says that in all of your getting, get an understanding. So get an understanding. Understand what it is that you're going after, what it is that you want to do. And it's okay to have high goals. It's okay to have lofty goals, but work towards it, build towards it. Because if you try to take the elevator all the way to the penthouse floor, and you haven't stopped to make sure you're grounded, that you're going to miss the elevator on your way down. And so that's some really good advice to give to any entrepreneur that's stepping out there. So, how has it been raising your son and stepping out into this new space that you stepped into?
It has been up and down. The beginning of this year was very horrific for me. I'm just coming out. I'm still in a slight storm, but I'm almost out. So, I had some unexpected things happen within my family, and so it's just getting used to my new norm. So I will say that I'm very transparent. 2020, of course, we all experienced a challenge. I was a new homeschool mommy. My father passed in the beginning of 2020. My brother passed. My uncle passed. So there was a couple of deaths, and just trying to get acclimated to this new norm. And then 2021 hits, and things happen, and so now I'm really just getting my footing back, which I'm super excited about. But we all know that God doesn't do anything by mistake. So we all learn from our storms to make us better, so we can help someone else. But if I had to go back to the beginning to the middle of 2020, and 19 was very, very amazing. So but right now, I feel like I'm picking back up from the beginning of 2020, just to be honest with you. So it has been a good ride. I enjoy what I do. 2020 really made online more busier than what it was. So you have to put a little extra work in, because now, everybody turned to, being online. But I'm excited for what's to come. God has been putting me in new directions. He's been putting me in new atmospheres. I just I'm writing another book now. I have 25 other women co-author, well, not co-authors, but they're contributing authors, and it's called Rise, Reposition, and Rebuild. So this is a part of my ministry that God is actually resurfacing, because it's not new. It was already there, but sometimes we have to go through things in order for it to come back. So now it's back at a different capacity. So I'm excited about that. So that'll be pre-launching on my birthday, August 7th. And then I'll be having a conference, Rise, Reposition, Rebuild, in October. So I'm just excited for this next journey and next chapter in my life. And, everything will be combined together the way it's supposed to be. And through this process, I learned how to pace myself. Because sometimes we live in this rush world, and we see everything on social media, and we feel like we got to go get the bag, because everybody, at the end of the day, we all have an assignment. We all have our own calling and our giftings, and the thing that God puts in us to reach others. But we can't rush past it. We have to go through the process, learn throughout the process, and then He will make things established. So that's pretty much where I am in my journey right now.
That is so great for individuals to be able to hear that, because we've all had to reposition. 2020 taught us some serious lessons, and hopefully people caught on, because everybody keeps saying, I'll be glad when we get back to normal. I'll be glad when we get back to normal. And I'm like, that's normal is never going to be again. That's gone. You need to determine what your new normal is going to look like. And like you, one of the things that I have found, even in my own life, is when I made the shift that God asked me to make, I haven't had to go searching for anything. When I tell you I haven't advertised for nothing, and everything just kind of boom, 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 fell into place. And he always manages to have you at the right moment, in the right place, to meet the right people. For him to be able to utilize you how he needs to utilize you, and then for you to continue moving forward, and even being able to bless somebody you never even thought that you were going to encounter.
Seriously.
And so even when I hear you in the morning time, sometimes when I'm not on with my Bible study and you come on, I still see that same energy. I haven't seen the energy wane. I still see that same energy. So how do you, in your own life, how do you maintain your own personal self-care to keep that energy, to keep the way that you are? Because you're consistent in front of your audience. So how do you maintain yourself to do that?
I will be honest with you. During the storm that started in 2021, I was gone for a while. Like, I just came back. I wasn't online for like 3-4 months. I would show up sporadically when I had a good day, but I just had to be real with myself. So I feel like, I know in business you can't be flip floppy. You have to show up regardless of what's going on. But I just had to be real with myself. I could not show up consistently with what I was going through and the pain that I was going through. But I bless God, for allowing me to do it now. But I would say, showing up consistently, It's just one of them things you have to do. You have to love who you're speaking to. You have to love what you're talking about. You have to be excited about it, whether if 2 people come on your live or if 200 people come on your live. You're still helping somebody. Somebody will watch that replay. You always want to make sure that your energy is up. Some days you're not going to feel like it. And I ain't going to lie, sometimes you got to fake the funk with the energy. You just got to fake it sometimes. And even when if you started out faking it, after like 10 minutes, you're going to forget faking it. You already in it. Like people won't even see the transition because now you're not even feeling like you're faking because you're in it, especially when you start getting people to feedback with you and good morning. And so it's just all about other people's energy as well. That's why it's very good to know who you're talking to and what target demographic that you are seeking after and you want to work with, because they will help you with that energy. So I mean, that's what I would say. I don't have any magic pill. I would just say be yourself. And even if you are having a bad day, let people know. Like one thing about this online thing, you have to be authentic because people like authenticity. They don't like robots. So if I'm not normally coming on like good morning, like I'm not going to do that. I may come on one day and be like, hey guys, and then the next day I'm just really having a bad day and I'm like, what's up y'all? All right, here we go. And then after like 5 minutes, I'm up. So it just really all depends.
So you made a comment about the energy of the audience and the feedback that you get back from the audience and how it feeds that.
Mm-hmm.
Even in working in the salon, how important is it about how you show up when you're in that salon and you're face to face with those customers?
Oh God, now that's super important. First of all, these people are coming in to pay you, okay? No one wants to come in to pay to hear your sob stories. No one wants to come in to pay and you're just over their head like, they want to feel that you care. They may have some issues. So they came in so they can relax and now you over their head with bad energy. That's not a good mix. Okay. Number one, you might not get paid. And number two, they might not come back. So you have to leave all of your troubles at the door, leave all of your troubles home, and just come in. I'm gonna go back to your fake it till you make it thing, or get yourself together in the car before you come in, or go back in the back break room or something and get yourself together. Woosah, pray definitely. Talk to someone and get out there, and it's showtime.
I like that what you said, that you just get yourself together, because we all know that, back in the day when we were growing up, my mom used to say, well, put your big girl panties on and go on and handle what you got to
You
handle.
got to make money. I mean,
And that's what it is. You build these relationships. And I had a stylist that I was going to, and the pandemic kind of stopped that relationship because everything shut down. It
yeah.
just kind of shut down. But even for me, I had to sit back and I had to think, because sometimes we get into the habit of going to the same stylist, but we never asked ourselves, is this stylist still meeting my needs?
That's good.
And so talk about a little bit of that, of how stylists need to make sure that they're meeting the needs of their clientele.
Well, everybody has seasons. We know that. I've had clients before I moved to South Florida. I had clients for 18, almost 20 years that stayed with me. I had some that left, came back. We're humans. We all like to try out different things. Then you have those loyal people that won't try out anybody. They just want to stick with you. That's like your doctor. You're not going to change different heart doctors because that doctor is keeping you alive. Or that dentist is keeping your teeth good. But I think that it's important for a stylist to maintain her relationship, a proper relationship with her clients. It's important for her to stay relevant, because if you don't, like, the beauty industry is forever changing. So if you don't change with the changes, then you're going to be stale. You're not going to be relevant. So it's super important to make sure that you consistently stay relevant. Go to hair shows, get some education, take some classes, get some books, hire a coach, whatever you have to do, because a lot of times I see stylists, especially stylists that have been in the industry for a very long time, they get very complacent. They get very complacent.
That's not good, because
No.
I even know the stylist that I was going to. I even know for her, she there was some of the well-known beauty products that would put on like the new hair dye that they've come out with, and they would put out different classes to teach you how to use their new products that they've put out. Even individuals that had like the curling irons and all of that that are coming out. And I know she invested in that kind of stuff because we talk about it. But that across the board, that's so important. Learn. The more you learn, the better you're able to handle whatever is going on, and the better you are able to serve your clients. That's really, really important. So as you stepped into this new normal that we are still trying to figure out right now, um, what can we expect next from you? I know you said you've got a conference coming up, you've got a book that's coming out. What all can we expect from you?
There we go. I operate in three components. I'm a firm believer in focusing on one thing until successful. So when I label these things down, I am not jumbled or all over the place. I'm going to put them in categories for you. My main business that I serve my clients is Candra Ward Consulting, what I shared with you earlier. I pretty much teach you how to take your expertise and experiences and turn them into high-end signature programs, okay? So meaning coaching programs, even if you don't want to be a coach, if you just want to help somebody lose weight, or you want to help somebody do hair color, you want to help somebody build a school, you need a framework, you need a curriculum, and you need some kind of steps. You need, you need some you need something to give them where it can get them to the next level. You want to bring solutions to their life, right? You want to have modules. What I do is I help you to build those out. So I work in three capacities. You can work with me one-on-one, where it's just you and I have a 4-week and an 8-week program with my one-on-ones, right? I have a laser call, but the laser call, that's like 90 minutes. That's for somebody that already has everything together. They just need like one answer, right? So that's just minimal. I also have a group coaching program. It was called the Digital Stylist, but I'm in the midst of changing the name now. So I have a couple names on the table. But that's a 12-week coaching program. So I teach you basically almost the same thing as if I were to teach you with the one-on-one. The only difference is you are working with, we're not working, but you're in a class with other people. A lot of people like that model too because it's more accountability. They get to meet friends. They get to go over their business ideas with other people. They have accountability partners. And then you have people that only want to work one-on-one because they work better like that. So those are the three components within Candra Ward Consulting. So it's the one-on-one, the group coaching, and the laser. Also, really quickly within that, I sell a workbook. So if you don't want to operate, if you don't want to work with me in any of those capacities, I have a workbook called the Ultimate Clarity Workbook. So it's over 200 pages of nothing but clarity. Like if you want to start your online business, your digital products, your programs, all of the layout is in here. Like everything you need is in here. So I do sell that as well. Now with God bringing this new ministry back in my life with the Rise, Reposition, and Rebuild, and that spawned off of the situation that I went through in the beginning of the year. It's really helping women that's in pain. It's really helping women get to their next level. Women that have been abandoned, have been rejected, divorced, have been separated. Their children may be acting up. Their job, they're ready to get off of their job and they just don't know how to shift. Well, the Rise, Reposition, and Rebuild, this is exactly what it's for, because we as women sometimes get really stuck, and we get into this complacent, we don't want to be complacent, but we just don't know how to get to that next level because what we were doing before, that's all we knew. And then sometimes if certain things come into our life, like those, maybe you lost a child, anything that tragic and traumatic that happened in your life, God called me back to speak to those women. Years ago, I would speak to teen moms. So this always been my ministry, to speak to women, whether they're teen moms, young girls, young women or older women, right? But now he has me speaking to the older women. So that's pretty much the next thing I have. That right there, I don't really look at it as a business. It's more so a ministry. But again, I have the book coming out in the conference and the support group. And then thirdly, my baby, my 7-year-old, has a hair care line. So it's called the Gabriel Ian brand. So I'm excited about that. We're about to pick back up on that. So I have some other people working with me with that. So because I don't like to add too much on my plate, because I'm not a firm believer of hustle and grind. I don't even like those words. I hustled and grind all of my life before in the salon world, and I don't want to bring it into this world. So those are the three components that I actually operate in. But for this audience, it will be Candra Ward Consulting. So, if you're looking to create a program, some digital products, you're looking to increase your income, triple your income, you want to make your 10K plus months, your 20K plus months, this is the best way to do it. I always say you want to take your genius and monetize it. Like, God has given us such genius and he's given us such gifts in our hands, and we need to learn how to monetize it.
I think that that is so key. A lot of times people don't take that into consideration, that you already have in you what it is that you need to pull out of you. And so a lot of times we just need to figure out what our purpose is and understand that as we determine what our purpose is, then we can begin to build. And as we begin to build, we become more confident. And the more confident we become, then we are able to produce more products out into the marketplace and to be able to meet our audience where they are. So I am looking forward to hearing more about this conference, because I think that it is going to be a tremendous blessing to women.
I do. Yeah.
So what it is that they have to offer and how it's meeting them where they are, I think it's going to be essential. So before we end the broadcast, I want to give you an opportunity to, if you had the ideal client,
Mm-hmm.
what would that ideal client look like?
That ideal client within Candra Ward Consulting would be a woman, because I do serve men, but I predominantly serve women. But that would be the woman again, and I sound repetitive, but that woman that's stuck in that midsection. She's looking for that next. She needs to spend more time with her family, because we just hustle and grind and we work to the bone. And the Bible says, what profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? So we can't take any of this stuff with us. And I'm not talking against having money, because we need money to enjoy our lives. We need money to survive. I get that. But we can't take none of this stuff with us. So at the end of the day, we have to learn how to have balance. So I'm looking for that woman. I love to work with a woman that's looking for her next, that's ready, open, and available. No excuses. She's finding a way to invest in herself. She's not saying, well, I just don't know. We don't have time to waste. We have to get on this now. If you gel with my spirit, if you see me on live or something and you feel like that, yes, that's her I need to work with, then that's fine. Because I like to work with women that are ready. I like to work with women that are sharp, that are smart. I like to work with women that are ready just to take that next move and say, how much? Let's go. I don't like the he and haw and all that good stuff. And I like to work with women that love to help others. Okay, so she loves to help others. She's trying to save time. She definitely wants to make more money, and she just wants to have a better life. And she knows that she has something to share with the world. So I help you to take your story and transform it, monetize it, your pain, all of your expertises. A lot of people are giving their knowledge away for free, and there's nothing wrong with that. But meaning people are sucking them dry and they're not even getting a dime for it. Why not make some money off of it, right? Why not throw it in the course and be like, hey, I've got your answers right there. Go ahead and grab that for $9.97. So that's what I do.
I think that that is important. So that woman that is just right on the edge, she's right there. She's about ready to fall over. She's about right to step in there, but something is holding her back. What would you have to say to her?
I would say don't time waits for nobody, okay? Definitely consult God first. I would always say that first. Definitely listen. Just take some time and listen. Don't rush out there. Don't jump. I have made some hasty decisions and lost some money. You definitely want to, because we live off of emotions, especially women. We have these emotions, we feel good, and we make decisions off of a feel good. You want to make sure that you consult with God first and get some answers. You want to make sure that you feel you what I just said. I don't want to sound contradictory, but when I say feel good about it, have peace. Let me say that. You want to make sure that you have peace about the decision you're going to make, because a lot of times when you're on the edge, you're desperate. And the first person you see jump on live and they look like that, you going, no, no, no. You want to scout people. You want to make sure that that coach is not just interviewing you, but that you are interviewing them. Because what everything that glitters ain't gold. So just because somebody has a large following, I am okay. So I've never been the type of person to fall head over heels over influencers. I've never been the type of person to fall head, like even back in the day before we even knew the term influencers. I was the type of person, even if like people came to do concerts and all that stuff, it was like, oh, they people just like me. They just got more money. So I would say that today, don't fall over the shiny object syndrome. You have some people that don't have a large following at all. They may have one or two clients, but I bet you they can get you where you need to get versus that person that has thousands of people that won't even have the time to spend with you personally because they have help. Nothing wrong with that. That's wonderful where they are, but that may not be what you need. So I would say scout people. Don't look down on the small person that's just starting out because I always say people, and this is my philosophy, people like to dog the small person, but they were once small too. So the influencer started small too. She had to get people, or he had to get people to jump on their bandwagon to get them to that influencer stage. So how is the small person ever going to get there if we keep overshadowing them? And check this out. Again, the small person has more time with you because they're not as busy yet. So take advantage of the small person. That's what I would say.
I love that philosophy because a lot of times we don't think about the person that's coming up that is becoming the influencer, that is on the rise, that they have the time to spend with you. Because I even know within my own business and the people that I coach, those ones that started out with me got a whole lot for a little bit. They got
Mm-hmm.
a whole lot of my time.
Oh
Folks
yes.
coming on now, they get to get some modules and they get to get some one-on-ones, but not like the people that started the journey with
Oh
me.
yeah.
And so that is key. You want to make sure, yeah, we always want to be associated with a name and
Mm-hmm.
with someone who has influence,
Mm-hmm.
but the word of God even tells us not to look down on small beginnings. You know, those small beginnings start building and
Yes.
it gets momentum and go up. And you never know, the person that invested in you when they were starting out may be the same person that is going to help you get to where you are once they reach that next level.
Yep.
And so that's really really important. And so I thank you for coming on the show today,
Thank you for
Kendra.
having me.
This has been great. I love your spirit. I love to watch you do what it is that you do. And every chance I get, I'm listening in to see what little nuggets you're gonna drop.
Yeah.
Because you never know. And I'm gonna be real transparent because that's how I am with my audience. When I first caught you, and I want to say your baby was not maybe a year old or not
Wow.
much older, but he to me they not really a big person until like 3 or 4,
I
so
know.
they still babies to me. And I was going through a really rough time.
Mm.
I had basically restarted, as they say, jump started my life. We
Mm.
restarted from nothing and started building up. And I would listen to you sometimes and I would be like, now, how does she have it all together? You
Mm-mm.
know, this is a bad day for me.
Mm.
How is she still going? And it was in those moments that God really allowed me to see that you don't know what she's gone through to have that smile on her face.
Mm-mm.
You don't know what she's dealt with to have that light shining. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know what it took for her to get up that early in the morning and show up and be on.
Yep.
Because let me tell you something, it's different from just waking up. You got to be on,
Yes. Yes.
and you've got to be ready.
Yes.
And so I want to say personally for me, thank you.
Oh, you're
Because
welcome.
you
Thank
blessed
you.
my life in a time when I needed it. And I
Wow.
didn't know I needed it. All
Wow.
I knew is that I was tuning in to Candra and you would say some stuff and it would just be hilarious. And that may have been the only laugh I had that morning.
Wow.
And so it was, and a lot of times we don't think about the people that are watching and listening to us. because they may not say nothing.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, they're the ones that I call the creepers. You know, we just kind of creep in there and see
Uh-huh.
what's going on, and then we creep back off until the
Yep.
next time.
Yep.
And we come in and get our fix, whatever it is we
Yeah.
need,
Yeah.
and then we go on. But thank you so very much for allowing your light to shine. Thank you for sharing your life, your passion, and your legacy with my audience. And also, I want to say congratulations on the new book.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the conference.
Thank you.
And I know that the women that you encounter for both are going to be blessed
Mm.
by what it is that God has you doing. So I'm going to allow you to close out however you want to close out.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you. This was absolutely phenomenal. Thank you again. It was very heartfelt. It was very easy and comfortable. So thank you. Thank you to everyone that's watching, that's listening. What I will say is if you need any help in building out your curriculum, if you need any help in building out your lesson plans, or if you just need to get clear on your next steps, don't be afraid to inbox me on Facebook at Candra Ward or IG. Or you can go to my website and book a free call at candraward.com. Okay. Next, again, stay tuned because I'm going to be traveling quite a bit the rest of this year. I have a couple conferences in South Carolina and Atlanta and things of that nature. But make sure you stay tuned for the Rise, Reposition, and Rebuild movement. So that'll be the conference and the book. Okay. So if you are a woman or you know of a woman that's going through some difficult challenges, I have some amazing women that's writing inside of this book. I mean, it's like I have 6 contributing authors that's going to actually be doing chapters, but I have about 25 women that are going to be writing their story of hope in the back of the book. So they have I won't tell you everything, but they have an assignment where they're going to be writing their darkest moment and how they overcame or actually overcoming. The whole purpose of the book is just to help uplift another woman.
Well, thank you so much for the work that you do. Thank you for always allowing your light to shine. You know, even in those moments when we think that I shouldn't be on here because I'm in a bad space, you never know. The space that you in is better than the space that somebody else is in.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so they need to see you in order
Yeah.
for them to step out of their space.
Yeah.
So this is your girl, Michelle, with Girls Talk Real Talk and with Candra, because when girls talk, you never know what's going to happen. So you all have a fantastic evening, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next week at 6 p.m. with another fantastic guest. And we also look forward to you following us. If you're not following us on the Girls Talk Facebook page, then make sure that you do. And that would be at Girls with a Z Talk 2018. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.